Welcome back. This is Aquarium Hacks by Marcus. And so today I'm just going to be talking about what I said I was going to talk about on my last video. And that was, is it better to have one big tank or maybe two medium-sized tanks or three medium-sized tanks or a bunch of small aquariums? Well, as you can see from behind me, I have got two tanks. Now, one of them is a 5-foot tank and one of them is a 3-foot tank. So, and they're both 18 inches wide. And so, in essence, I have 8 feet of aquarium that I have. Now, if you think about that, would I rather have just one 6-foot tank, or would I rather have the 5-foot tank and the 3-foot tank? Especially if the 6-foot tank is 6 foot and it's only by 18 inches, the same as this 5-foot tank is. I would rather have the two tanks. That would make no sense for me to upgrade, spend hundreds of dollars more just for a 6-foot tank, and I've already got one that's 5 foot and I already got one that's 3 foot. And plus I get the chance to keep two different kind of species in the tank. Shell dwellers on this side, the rock dwellers, and the community tank on this side. So that's the advantage of keeping, multiple tanks. Of course, you get to have a chance to have different species in your tank, and you have to get a chance to have different fish in your tank. Now, that is an upside to keeping multiple smaller tanks, because you can set up different kind of tanks, different kind of environments. If you want a South American, you want a Central America, you want an African cichlid tank, whether that's West or the East African lakes, or a community tank with guppies and platies and tetras and stuff like that, you can do that because you can set up those different kind of tanks. So that's an advantage. What is a disadvantage? Disadvantage to multiple tanks is you have to keep up with multiple maintenance. You have to keep up with multiple heaters, multiple filters, and your electricity bill will probably go up as well. And if you're a busy person, you might not have time to mess with multiple small tanks. Disease outbreak in this tank, now I got to treat this one, and things of that nature. On the other hand, if you only got maybe 2 or 3 tanks, maybe you got a disease outbreak in one tank, but your other 2 tanks don't have it, so you only have to treat that tank. Whereas if you only have one big tank, this disease outbreak breaks into that one, you got to treat the entire tank. And so, in essence, according to how your life is and what you want to do and how much time you want to spend on your aquariums, that's what you really got to judge it by. Now, if you're a busy person and you don't got time for multiple tanks and a tank room and all this kind of stuff, you got other things you got to do in your life, then maybe just one big tank is all you need. Or you might not even need a big tank. You might just need one small tank or one medium-sized tank. But I will tell you, the larger the tank, the better, the less work you're going to have to do in that tank. And the better it's going to keep the water parameters. And really, it's not going to cost you that much more to run a bigger tank than it would maybe a tank that was a little bit smaller. Take, for instance, here's this 5-foot tank. If I was to get a 6-foot tank, same dimensions as this 5-foot, but it's just 6 foot, it would cost the exact same to run that 6-foot tank as it did the 5-foot tank. I mean, I would use the same heaters, the same lights, the same filters. So I would get actually more out of the tank, bigger tank, and it would still cost me the same to run it as far as the electric bill goes. So it's really according to how your life is and what you want to do. If you want multiple tanks, 2 tanks, or just one big tank, or just a small tank, it has to be according to your life and what you can put into your house. And so just think about that, and that will help you to decide if 1 or 2 tanks or 3 or 4 tanks is good for me. But I will say this: there are some people that was on YouTube, and I've seen them on Facebook, that had multiple tanks. It was too much for them to keep up with. They broke it down just to one big tank, and they're happy and they're satisfied with that. And if that's what's good for you, then that's what you need to do. Now, on that note, when it comes to a bigger tank, I do have some exciting news that I'm going to give you. I am getting me a bigger fish tank. It is going to be it's going to be a 6-foot tank, but the difference is going to be 6 foot by 24 inches wide. Now, I would not get just a 6-foot tank by 18 inches wide because that wouldn't make that big of a difference in the tank that I've already got. But if I get one 6 foot, I get an extra foot, and then 24 inches wide, I get an extra 6 inches. So in essence, I'm actually gaining overall about 18 inches of tank. That makes a big difference. That makes a huge difference when you're getting that type of aquarium. I am getting it custom made. I'm spending more money than what I normally would spend. I'm getting it made at glass cages, and I pray and hope that they do a good job. And it's going to be in an acrylic tank because it's what is easiest and best for me to fit down into my narrow hallway basement. So that's another thing too. You have to get a tank that you can fit, like I said before, to fit into your area. I would have went glass, but a glass tank would have been very difficult, especially that size, to carry down into my basement. Acrylics is many times lighter, and I can easily carry that down into my basement. And so that's what I'm going to get. Now, what you might be wondering, what am I going to do with these 2 tanks behind me? I'm going to actually combine them. I'm going to have these fish and these multifasciatus mixed together. Yes, this is going to be my dream tank. It's going to be an excellent tank. My best Lake Tanganyika, maybe my best Tanganyika, maybe best aquarium that I've ever had in my life. And I've had some awesome aquariums, you know, South American, Planet, all kinds of aquariums. But this might be the best one yet. I'm putting more money into it, and it's going to be my one and only tank that I'm going to have. It's going to be my, what I call my dream tank. So if you got just one tank that you want to have, and you want to make it the best tank, a dream tank, then go for that. If you want multiple tanks, you might not be able to do a dream tank in multiple tanks. It'll be very expensive. But if you could do one tank and make it a master tank, then I would say go for that, because that's what I'm doing. Now, on that note, I just want to give you guys a few tips and a few hack points. Remember these rocks here that I was talking about last week? Wonderful rocks, look great. And I had them in my aquarium for a little while. And they're safe to put in your aquarium. I would say brush them off, soak them first, then put them in your aquarium. But they're totally safe to put in your aquarium. But what I noticed with these rocks is that a little bit of the safe paint, as you can see on the bottom, now I don't know if you can see that well, let's see. But see that yellow? So a little bit of that safe paint started to actually fade off of these rocks. And so, as beautiful as these rocks are, they obviously had that problem. Now, how do you go about keeping this beautiful rock and yet keeping it with its beautiful colors, or doing something else that you want to do to it? My recommendations is to get you some Plasti Dip Clear and spray this like you need to spray it with Plasti Dip Clear. This will prevent it from flaking off, and Plasti Dip Clear, or Plasti Dip period, is very safe for your aquarium. No matter what color it is, it's very safe for your aquarium. So use you some Plasti Dip, and Plasti Dip this according to the directions, and that way you can prevent this from flaking off. Now, what I'm going to do in my Master Dream tank, I'm not only going to Plasti Dip it in clear, but first I'm going to actually use some camo Plasti Dip brown, and I'm going to brown these rocks up. Then I'm going to shoot a little bit of tan on it, and I'm going to keep going around it about 4-5 times, about 4 times probably. And then the 5th time, after I got all that Plasti Dip on there, brown and different, you know, unique colors, because I wanted to all match everything just perfectly, try to do the best I can, hopefully I don't screw it up. And then I'm going to do the final coat in Plasti Dip Clear. Plasti Dip, let me tell you something, it's just perfectly fine, perfectly safe for your aquarium. What you want to do is let this stuff cure for about 2 days. If you got time, let it cure for 3 days, okay? Let it cure. Then after you let it cure, soak it in cold water for about 24 hours. Next day, take it out, rinse it off, put it inside your tank will be totally safe. It's once it cures, it's totally inert, and it will not release off any dangerous chemicals into your tank. So remember that Plasti Dip, in my opinion, I've heard about the crayon or the crayon paint. I heard it was safe, but I have always used Plasti Dip to, whether it was to color my rocks or to get a different kind of color on it. I've always used Plasti Dip. And what's so wonderful about Plasti Dip too, it's a rubber, and so you can actually, after you get done with it, and if you don't like it no more, it will actually peel off of your aquarium decorations. Now it won't come off in the water, but if you start poking at it or whatever, you can actually peel it off and get it off your decorations at any time that you want to. But it will last for years underwater. Trust me, this is some good stuff. Plasti Dip is. And I'm going to Plasti Dip these rocks. Like I said, I'm going to Plasti Dip them brown with a little tan mix, and just try to do something different with these rocks. Absolutely love them though. These are some excellent rocks. I think it'll look great on these rocks. So I know this isn't one of my special videos, special hack videos or whatever, but it is just a little bit of informative videos about aquarium tanks, whether you can have one or whether you need to have many. That's really up to you. Next week or next time, of which that might be several weeks ago, so I'll probably make some more videos in between, but I'm going to show you some tips on how I build my aquarium stands, how they're quick, fast, and efficient, and because I want to build a stand for this tank that I'm going to be getting in here in a few weeks. It's gonna be like in November when I'm going to go get it. So, but until then, keep on hacking, and you guys have a great day.